Bhagavad Gita Chapter 3 The Path of Action. Don't think of Chapter 3 as a lecture. Think of it as Arjuna listening carefully and then raising his hand with a very practical question. The battlefield is still waiting. The armies remain in place. The horses are calm. The dust hangs in the air. And Arjuna has been listening. In Chapter 2, Krishna spoke about wisdom, inner peace, and the steady mind. Arjuna heard every word, but now he looks puzzled. He turns to Krishna and says, "Wait, if inner wisdom is so important, if peace is so important, if detachment is so important, then why are you asking me to fight? Wouldn't it be better if I simply walked away?" It's a very human question. Sometimes, after hearing spiritual teachings, people think, maybe I should avoid responsibilities. Maybe I should leave everything. Maybe doing nothing is more spiritual. Krishna smiles. He knows exactly where Arjuna's confusion comes from. "Arjuna," he says gently, "nobody can truly remain without action. The morning breeze moves through the battlefield. Krishna points around him. The wind is moving. The rivers are flowing. The sun is rising. The earth is turning. Life itself is action. Even sitting still is a form of action. Even deciding not to act is still a decision. The universe is constantly moving. So the question is not, should I act? The question is, how should I act?" Arjuna listens carefully. Krishna continues, "Imagine a person who sits quietly and pretends to be detached. Outwardly, they seem peaceful, but inside their mind, they are full of desires, fears, and cravings. Is that true peace?" Arjuna understands. Krishna is saying that simply running away from life does not automatically bring wisdom. You can leave a battlefield, you can leave a city, you can leave a job, but if your mind remains restless, the conflict follows you. Then Krishna gives one of the most beautiful teachings of the chapter. Perform your work as an offering, not for ego, not for praise, not for applause, not because others will notice, simply because it is the right thing to do. Imagine a gardener tending a garden. Every morning he waters the plants, not because someone is watching, not because he wants a reward, not because the plants need care. That simple action becomes sacred. Krishna says life can be lived that way. Every responsibility, every duty, every act of service can become an offering. The battlefield suddenly feels much larger than a battlefield. It becomes a symbol of life itself. Then Krishna talks about something called yajna. Many people think yajna means only a fire ritual, but Krishna's meaning is deeper. A tree gives shade, a river gives water, the sun gives light, the earth gives food. Everything in nature contributes. Nothing exists only for itself. Krishna says human beings flourish when they also contribute rather than merely consume. Arjuna watches the armies. Perhaps for the first time he realizes life is not centered around his personal likes and dislikes. There is a larger order at work. Then Krishna tells him something surprising. "Even I continue to act." Arjuna looks confused. Why would Krishna need to do anything? Krishna smiles. "If I stopped acting, others would follow my example. The world would fall into disorder." The lesson is profound. Greatness is not escaping responsibility. Greatness is performing responsibility with wisdom. The sun climbs higher. The battlefield glows beneath its light. Krishna then points to Arjuna's greatest enemy, not Duryodhana, not the Kaurava army, not any warrior standing across the field. The real enemy is within. Desire, uncontrolled craving, endless wanting. Krishna describes it like a fire. Feed it one piece of wood and it asks for another, and another, and another, never satisfied. He explains that desire clouds judgment, like smoke covering a flame, like dust covering a mirror, like clouds hiding the sun. The truth is still there, but it becomes difficult to see. Arjuna sits quietly. The battle outside suddenly seems less important than the battle within. The chapter begins to close. Krishna tells him, "First learn to govern yourself, master your senses, strengthen your mind, act from wisdom rather than impulse." The armies still wait. The war has not begun, but Arjuna is changing. Slowly, one layer of confusion at a time. And chapter 3 leaves us with a powerful realization. The goal is not to escape life. The goal is not to avoid responsibility. The goal is not to sit on a mountaintop while the world moves on. The goal is to live fully, to act fully, to serve fully, but without becoming trapped by ego, fear, or attachment. As the chapter ends, Arjuna is beginning to understand something important. Peace is not found by running away from action. Peace is found in the way you perform action, and Krishna, the charioteer, is preparing him for even deeper truths in the chapters ahead.